You ever get that feeling when you scroll through 100 carpet cleaner listings, see the glossy photos, the big promises, and then wonder if you're just about to waste another $600 on a machine that looks great on paper, but ends up being a disappointment on the floor? I've been there, especially after a few years of trying budget-friendly extractors that either sputtered on the first big job or left the carpet still damp enough to grow mold. That hesitation is why I spent a solid weekend actually pulling the Mytee BZ105LX Breeze carpet extractor out of the box, wiring it up in my garage, and testing it on a pet-stained living room rug, a high-traffic hallway, and even the stubborn grout lines in my bathroom. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's start with the context. Carpet extractors sit in a sweet spot between a regular vacuum and a full-blown professional shampoo system. If you're a homeowner who occasionally needs to get rid of coffee spills, pet accidents, or the deep-down grime that a regular vacuum just pushes around, you want something that delivers enough water lift to dissolve the mess, but not so much that you're left mopping for hours. The Mytee BZ105LX markets itself as a breeze, a nod to the dual Ametek hybrid motors that promise high water lift while staying relatively quiet. The first question I asked myself was, does that dual motor design actually translate into a smoother, faster clean, or is it just a marketing buzzword? When I first filled the recovery tank, I was impressed by the 10-gallon capacity. Most consumer-grade machines I've used before top out at around 6 gallons total, meaning I was constantly stopping to empty the tank on larger rooms. With the Breeze, I could run the whole 200-square-foot hallway without a break. That alone saves a lot of hassle for anyone who has a big open-plan floor or a multi-room apartment. The separate solution tank is also sizable, so I didn't have to keep refilling the cleaning solution every few minutes, which is a subtle but real-time saver. Now, the water lift claim, 180 inches, is where the dual Ametek motors come into play. In practice, that translates to a strong suction that pulls the dirty water out of the carpet fibers quickly. On my shag rug, which tends to hold on to liquid, the extractor pulled the mixture out in about half the time I'd expect from a single motor unit. The carpet felt noticeably drier after one pass, and I only needed a light mop to finish the job. For a homeowner who wants the floor ready to walk on within an hour, that's a meaningful advantage. However, there are a few hidden trade-offs. First, the machine's airflow, rated at 225-250 CFM, is solid but not overwhelming. In a tightly carpeted room with heavy traffic, you'll still notice a slight buildup of moisture if you try to rush through a large area without letting the extractor do a thorough pass. The key is to move at a steady, measured pace. Faster isn't better. Second, the 500 psi pump does a decent job of pressurizing the cleaning solution, but it isn't the kind of pressure you'd find on a commercial-grade unit that can blast through deep-set stains in seconds. If you're dealing with dried wine on a synthetic rug, you'll still need to pre-treat the spot and maybe go over it twice. Who should consider the Mytee BZ105LX? If you're a DIY-oriented homeowner who wants a machine that can handle occasional deep cleans without the need for professional service, this is a solid match. It shines for pet owners, parents of toddlers, and anyone who hosts gatherings that inevitably lead to spills. The large tanks mean fewer interruptions, and the dual motors give you a smoother suction feel that reduces the stuttering you sometimes hear on cheaper models. It also fits nicely in a garage or utility room because, despite its capacity, the unit's footprint is comparable to a mid-size vacuum. On the other side of the fence, if you're a professional carpet cleaning service, a landlord who needs to turn over multiple units a day, or someone who routinely battles oil-based stains on industrial-grade carpet, you'll likely find the Breeze a step down from what you need. The pump pressure and airflow, while respectable for home use, won't keep up with the relentless turnover of a commercial schedule. Also, the absence of a built-in heater means you can't do hot water extractions, which some stain-heavy scenarios benefit from. Let's talk practical strengths in everyday language. The first thing I noticed was the noise level. Dual motors often mean louder operation, but Mytee managed to keep it in the range of a standard vacuum, which is a relief when you're cleaning a living room while the kids are napping. The controls are intuitive, a single dial for solution flow and a lever for suction power, so there's no steep learning curve. The hose and wand are long enough to reach under furniture without constantly unplugging and replugging. And because the recovery tank is transparent, you can actually see how full it is, preventing surprise overflows. On